Welcome to another episode of Odd Pairing. I am one of your co-hosts, Natasha, and I am here with my other co-host, Paige, and we are back with another episode.
Another day.
Because they keep letting us on.
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know who's listening, but thank you.
We appreciate it. So as we get into today's episode, it's going to be one of those episodes that is not heavy, but going in a direction of that we're trying to because over the last couple of episodes, we've been telling you, like, slow down on your drinking. You know what I mean? And for a good reason. We want you to stay healthy and alive and still be able to enjoy beverages without you having to, something happening and you being unsafe. So this particular episode, we're going to be talking more along the lines of the positive side of, like, being a social drinker. Still kind of giving you those potential kind of like cutbacks,
Yeah.
if you will,
Yeah.
how it can go south, because we got to remind you that it can go south, and just bringing it to why social lubricants is what it is, of why people can use it for their way to shake them out of their shell.
A lot of people use it that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shake them out of their shell. Everybody doesn't have a Sasha Fierce persona like me and Beyonce.
Oh my God. What is yours?
I try to call her my middle name, Nicole, but it's like more of a Nikki.
Okay.
So that's why I bring, because
spicy?
Like super spicy. That's why I bring out and about. Because at home, I am not this person at all. When I'm around friends, I'm not this person. I'm usually like hardcore, doing work, like A-type personality. Yeah. But when I'm out and about, you think I have fun all day. Because Nikki's out. Huh? Yeah, because Natasha don't play no games. Natasha's getting shit done.
Yeah.
That's who it is. So I think that Nikki has fun turns up when we have a little alcohol.
Yeah.
It's even better. Yeah.
Got it.
So today we're going to talk about like how that social lubricant is going. But first,
yes,
let's get into like what this week is like. Because we got a reason to pop a bottle today.
Today was my last day at my job before my new job starts. Yeah. So I've been transitioning, which is mentally and physically exhausting.
Yeah. And if anybody out there needs to borrow $20, call Paige.
Not yet.
If you need to borrow 20, maybe she'll spot you a 10. Call Paige. Yeah.
So I'm excited for new challenges, new opportunity. I'm still in the beer industry, so just been ready for something new.
Yeah.
And ready to close a chapter and start a new one. And so today I actually brought a Bubbly Rosé so that we can pop in celebration. It's from Wilson Creek, which is up in the Temecula area. And so, yeah. Well, no, it says Lodi.
Where's Lodi?
Northern California. What?
Who is Lodi?
Okay, well, we'll have to do some research because...
Right. Or you can do your own.
Do your own. WilsonCreekWinery.com, according to the label.
Right.
One of my girlfriends, Sarah, this is one of her favorite rosés, and she had, at a Christmas gift exchange, I was a recipient of the bottle, and I hadn't found an occasion yet. And
well, lucky us.
Here we are, popping it. So I'm like, I always do paper towel. I always get really scared.
There it is.
Oh, beautiful sound. Here, I'll pour you out some first.
Because what, you never pour yourself, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that like the golden rule?
Probably,
okay.
Yeah, like, out of respect, you pour for other people first?
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like opening chivalry?
Yeah.
Sure. You can just say it is.
Because before I took an etiquette class, I was pouring my own. I'd be like, I'll get to you.
I'll give you the bottle after I'm done.
I'll get to you when I get to you.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
to new
cheers.
beginnings.
New beginnings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
That is nice.
How was your week?
My week was good.
Yeah.
It was a lot better. I got a lot of stuff ramping up for like school and work, and it is going to be a wild year that's coming up, but it's going to be an easy year. There's just a lot of stuff to keep track of.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be, it's going to be fun. So I'm excited about it. And
anything you can share?
Yeah. So, I mean, most people know that I'm, getting my doctorate degree and I'm kind of like in my area of doing my hours, basically.
Yeah.
And so,
which is a lot of hours, right?
It's like 3,000. So, so part of that, nothing. That's just a couple of hours. So part of that is like taking on clients for free because you're like getting supervised by like other doctors and like all this other kind of stuff. So with that, it's a lot of like finagling your schedule. So still doing your full-time
flexibility,
job.
Right?
No, finagling.
Finagling. Sorry.
Because you have to have a flexible schedule in order to be flexible.
Oh, okay.
And mine is very tight. So what I'm doing is moving some things around to where it's like now going to be tighter than ever.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but I wrote it all out on yesterday and I was like, oh, look at us. We can do this. We can actually make this thing work. Part of like the school part of supervision, because I'm in California and everybody else is doing it like on East Coast and Central, I'm the one getting up at 6 a.m. To be in front of a computer to be in class. So I look ridiculous because my eyes are still puffy. Like Armando's back making coffee and stuff in the background. I'm just like, yo, it's got to get done though. It's got to get done. So that's the great thing.
It's probably nice to kind of have it done
Yeah.
earlier in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff. It probably allows for a little more finagling that way.
Exactly. So I just slide right into something else, like literally slide right into something else. That's the great thing about like telehealth and like just doing everything over Zoom now. You can do so many, you could just...
you cut down on all your travel.
Yeah, and it kind of, like I'm a little bit afraid of burnout, so I've like written into my schedule like things that I need to do.
Oh, good.
To not be burnt out. And because if you look at it, it looks ridiculous. It looks wild. It's like color-coded.
I was going to say, is it really colorful?
It's super colorful. It's like a lot of stuff. There's a bunch of red on there because there's stuff I must do and have to turn in, And so part of it is, it just looks crazy. And if somebody else looked at it, they probably would have a little tiny massive heart attack. But for me, I'm like,
but don't worry about it. It's mine.
Right.
It's not yours.
Yeah. So now when I take my Sundays are super serious now in terms of, like I said, every Sunday, I don't do nothing. I literally do not. I drag from the bed to the couch. And then Armando does everything. Like, doesn't matter what it is. He does it. And so that's going to be taken a lot more serious now. Because at first I was doing it, but at the same time, I kind of cheat and maybe prepare for Monday. But now I'm not preparing for nothing.
At all.
At all. Yeah. Forget it. So, that's what this week has been doing, just kind of getting started and getting ramped up for this next year because it's going to last the whole year.
Okay.
So, pray for me. So if I come in here some days and my makeup, lipstick probably over here by my ear, don't worry about it. I'm still alive.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
As it's burning in the background.
Color-coded calendar. Everything is fine.
Right. Exactly. That's how I know that it's going to be fine. So if somebody comes and finds me that I have passed away or something, they're going to be like, damn, she was organized though.
Yeah. There you go.
Whoa,
she was type A.
They're going to look at my study books.
They're
going to look at my study books and see all like tabs and everything. They'll be like, God damn. But so that's how the week has been going and everything. So I'm excited and I'm ready for it. And and I put all of this in there too. So nothing's going to get missed. Let's hope not. So today's episode.
Wonderful. Let's get into it.
Today's episode, I kind of want to start with the importance of the role of social drinking, like having that social lubricant. So if most people out there don't know what social lubricant is, it's the alcohol that you use in social situations, whether it's an office party, a birthday party. Some people need that for their own birthday party. I know I do because I find it quite hard to have a lot of attention on me. I find it, difficult. So that's where Nikki
Really?
comes in. Yeah.
Oh,
Nikki comes in.
Natasha finds it hard, but Nikki loves it.
Nikki is in love. Natasha, I'd be like, oh God. I'd be in the car literally like, they're gonna start singing happy birthday, I know it. And then people gonna be coming, hey, happy birthday. And all that. My mind goes into panic mode. So I'm like, all right, snap out of it, bring that personality out. And let's
Where's
go.
Nikki at?
Yeah. And let's go. And it works. It really does.
Yeah.
It works. But I'd be drained.
But you also see it like business mixers.
For sure.
And that sort of thing too.
Yeah.
I think it's just like that, having something in your hand, and it's like an icebreaker.
Yeah. Anytime we go to like those chamber, they always have like alcohol there. And I'm pretty sure that that's probably too. It's like, let's loosen these people up a little bit so they can get a little chatty about their business.
So they can network.
Yeah. Yeah. And it works. It does
totally
work.
works.
Yeah. So I like to think of it like it's a magical elixir of the socials.
Oh, I like that.
Magical elixir.
Of your choice.
Yeah. But too much of it gonna turn you into Harry Potter. You don't want that.
Harry Potter's okay. You don't like Harry Potter?
Wait, not that last one.
Oh, I didn't see that one. So
that last one. The first one was cute. It was nice. I loved it. It was that last movie.
When he's like an adult,
definitely,
trying to be a 16-year-old or something. I'll have to find it. So
Harry was out here doing the most. So I like to think of it that, and then some people call it liquid courage because it does. It gives you that courage that you would need in order to be able to do those things as a business.
Talk to strangers, or like I'm thinking even like dating. I mean, the going out into bars and stuff, like drinking and having that liquid courage to go up and talk to someone that you find attractive.
You know what though?
Or interesting.
I had started, I think, this last round before I met my husband, this last round of people that I was dating, I was doing coffee and letting them drink.
Drink coffee?
No, letting them drink alcohol. Like if we went to a bar, I would order like coffee, or I would order,
interesting.
Or I would order some other kind of like drink, because I think I wanted to make sure, from the bad and terrible relationships that I had before, I wanted to make sure everybody was like, I wanted to know what you was like when you was drinking. I need to know if you loosen up, what's happening? What's happening in there? What's going on in that brain of yours? What's noodling around? So part of that is, I think, the reason why I stayed sober in most of those occasions, like maybe the third date, then I would,
You're like, all right.
Yeah.
I'll let you see a little bit of Nikki.
Right. Because Natasha was definitely full-fledged in there.
You still want to hang out with Type A Natasha, Nikki is around.
And she's fun. She's a good time. Yeah. And so, like you said, with dating, and there's other things too in terms of, like what Jeff was saying on our last episode, was that in his culture, they drink at funerals. And I thought about that in terms of like, this is a moment of like, we did all the crying at the whole funeral piece.
Yeah.
But at the end, it should be like a celebration and just let's wash away for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. To let's like boost the mood and like have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about you in terms of how do you categorize social lubricant?
Well, I think too, like with like social drinking, that's how we met, right? It's like through network and like meeting different people and like having a glass of wine and then hanging out and talking longer and like learn. It allows you to, I think, meet new people because there's just something you already have in common. And so there's like this underlying understanding or appreciation of like a common drink and finding commonalities and similarities between people and like having that conversation where if you're like just drinking water or I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I was thinking about it in that way of like if people are like only drinking water, I don't think that they would still be as apt to being conversive with people who they don't know as well.
Oh no. Because they'll just be trying to calm down their anxiety at that point.
Yeah. And so there is something that like taking the edge off that allows you to find similarities with other people.
I don't know why I like that phrase.
Taking the edge off.
I don't know why I like that.
So
I think I like any, and this is just to like jump off the subject just a tad bit, but I think I like any type of any kind of saying that has to do with any substance.
Oh. Like what's another one?
This is terrible. But for like I want to say, is it like cocaine? In terms of like getting the monkey off your back when you're trying to beat it.
Oh, what? What is that?
Yes, it was something I remember.
Like I don't know that at all.
I remember hearing it. Whatever Ray Charles was on, because it was in the movie.
Oh.
And he was like, "Yeah, I got to get the monkey off my back." And it was him trying to beat like the substance.
Like, oh my gosh.
And all I could
Nobody wants to just say it. They just want to come up with a cute little like, oh well, if there's a monkey
literally on my
involved,
back.
Then it's not as bad as like, oh, I need to feed my addiction.
And you know me, you know my imagination. Of course, I see like the little monkey hanging on, and you trying to like
that cute little one from Friends. Remember his little monkey?
Yeah, and you trying to like wiggle it off. So I think about those particular things, and that it's always funny every time somebody do that. But
well, I think in beverages, like in food, bring people together.
Of course.
And so it's something, it's that thing that, again, a commonality that you find a common denominator.
Yes.
For everyone. And it just allows conversation to flow and happen a little more easily than if you didn't have a common denominator.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely an icebreaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could talk about like the drinks you have, the ones you ordered.
Right.
Let's say you had a long
what
table.
What are you drinking?
Yeah.
What do you like? Oh, you like that? Blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, that's a lot easier than like, water's real fresh tonight.
Right. Did you get alkaline or sparkling?
Are those round ice cubes or crushed? And I'd be like, bye.
And this is not for the people out there who don't drink. But imagine.
But I think that's why, like, yeah, I mean, we're obviously being facetious. But,
yeah.
Like, I think that's why it's like, oh, it's interesting. It's a craft or it's a,
right.
There's people have opinions about the different varieties or about different styles or makers or there's just a lot more you can like talk about.
Yeah. Because imagine if this was a water podcast.
I know.
How deep could we go?
We would have 3 episodes. Sparkling, still, and tap.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. And so this stuff, when I think about how like social lubricants have been over time, we think about all the festivals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Oktoberfest is a huge one, right? And then in Japan, they have like, it's a festival that they have in Japan. I can't remember what it was. I just had it in my thoughts earlier. But they have one in Japan as well that's like a huge festival that caters to like drinking. And so when I think about those big festivals that have like drinking in them, I'm thinking about how that brings people together and get people to talking in those moments. Because there wasn't a time where I would go up and start talking to someone about a different alcohol.
Anything.
Like, you know what I mean? Like in those festivals, especially if I went by myself, I don't mind going by myself. I'm just not going to talk to nobody. I'm going to kind of just like go and like
mosey through.
What y'all got over here? What y'all got? But give me a shot of vodka or a shot of tequila and then boom.
Everyone's your friend.
Everyone. I'm going all the way down the line. Hey, what y'all got going on? Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
That's how it is. So it kind of gets, a little bit of where it's globally we've brung it around to where the social lubricant is not just something we do here in the United States. It's done everywhere to kind of just bring people together, birthday parties, all these type of things. And I love that about it. But it also brings up a point of when people are in these particular situations where they have alcohol, do we think about people who don't drink?
I think we're starting to more. I mean, there's a lot more like non-alcoholic beers and wines, and like there's options, mocktails and things like that, where I feel like that's only within the last 10 to 15 years, really, like more so the last 10 than anything.
Yeah. And then becoming bigger in the last, I would say 5.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's been introduced, mocktails especially have been introduced like within the last 10, but going in terms of like people intentionally bringing them up has to be in the last like 5 to 7.
Yeah, and even in like the beer industry, just non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
Because like people weren't making non-alcoholic beer 5 years ago.
Right.
Or they were, and it was like O'Doul's, or there was like 2 that were like non-alcoholic. But now craft breweries are making non-alcoholic beers. And people are seeking them out. And they want the option of like still being in a social situation, and having a social lubricant without being like, okay, well, it has to have something altering, or it's like, I'll have one of those and like kind of mix it in with,
oh, that's good.
And so it's still like you're out and about and you're still being social and drinking and that sort of thing, and getting that part of the experience, the positive, social aspect and bringing people together. That I think a lot of like the beer industry, that's what I love about it, is that it's bringing people together in a very communal way. And so it still can do that because the flavors are still there.
Right.
And it's still part of just the experience of craft beer without necessarily compromising flavor and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
Which is important to people who like craft beer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that non-alcoholic beer is something I need to try.
Just there's some really good ones out there.
I kind of want to try them just to see what's up. And thinking about that too, I noticed that there's a difference in who brings what in terms of non-alcoholic, depending on age range.
Oh.
Because I remember like in my 20s, if you wanted to have something non-alcoholic, people be like, well, there's water over there.
Totally.
Don't touch the juice and the Coke because that's for the rum and the vodka.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and don't eat the watermelon because it's spiked.
Right. Right. So if you hear, water's your only option,
Right.
And so I remember how it was then, and now that I'm becoming older, I'm starting to see those where people are doing like mocktails at like weddings and like all of these different things of including everyone
more inclusive
into it. Yeah. So where you don't feel like because you don't have a pretty umbrella or, a fruit hanging out the side of your glass that you're not included.
Yeah. Or you get like a different color straw to indicate that it doesn't have alcohol in it.
Or like a whole different glass.
Or a different glass. Like, thanks for the billboard announcement.
Right. Yeah. And so I thought that those, I think that us being able to revolutionize like non-drinkers as well into the mix in those social situations is also great.
Yeah.
And people are thinking about that too.
But I wonder if it's like also the young, that was how it was when we were in our 20s, but like people who are in their 20s now, I don't think that they have the same expectation.
No, I went to one recently.
Oh.
And I saw it.
Okay.
That's what gave me the idea. I was like,
wow.
Oh. I was like, what if I don't want to drink?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the stuff? And they like, oh, well, we got White Claw. I don't, that's still alcohol.
That still has alcohol in it. Yes, it's lower ABV, but still contains alcohol.
Right.
But I just know that like the dynamic and the perspective of the drinker has changed as a consumer.
Yep.
And like leading more towards like healthier things where they're either just not drinking at all or drinking non-alcoholics, or they're drinking like kombucha, or, when we were talking, when we had Juneshine on and we talked about that, where it's a lifestyle where they're active and they're outdoors and they're and they want to have the feeling like they're, putting something healthy or attributing, that's part of who they are versus like we're drinking, and if you're not drinking, then you can have that water.
And it's even with that like aspect of it, I think that even with the alcohols now that people are coming out with like these healthier versions, not only does it allow for anyone to kind of have it, like even if you're healthier, but like when we had a fistful of gummies from Second Chance, right? I even like that you're now drinking to help something else. You know what I mean? Like they rescue dogs.
Cause, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like they have a cause. So that piece of it too, in terms of like the social aspect of it, of me being able to drink that. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh, I purchased this not only because I just like the way that it tastes, but I'm also like, yo, they're like, I'm giving them money to save dogs that I'm not going out there to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think it goes back to being a social lubricant where you're kind of like, oh, and did you know that they did this or they do this or this is why I like this brand and blah, blah. It gives you another thing to talk about.
Yeah.
As to like why you're drinking what you're drinking.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know, going with how the social lubricant of it, of course, I always have to bring something in terms of like psychology with it, because we got to talk about like what it's doing for someone with social anxiety, right? So if you have social anxiety and you have a little taste, that little magic potion, right? You are now a social butterfly. So from a recluse to a social butterfly at this point, right? So being able to know that it does kind of give you that like magic power in that sense, but not using it to hide the social anxiety. So there's a difference there. So there's part of it is, let me be able to handle this situation because I have to be here, right? Because if I have social anxiety, I don't need to be anywhere.
Yeah.
But if I have to be here, let me at least make this bearable, but without you being a slush at the end, because you've had way too much and now no one can handle you at this point, right? So there's that piece of it in terms of the psychology of it and running away from something instead of using it as I just need this to kind of just put me into having more of that social feeling and sticking with that feeling instead of using it as I'm drinking until I'm not here anymore.
Right. Yeah.
So that's like that difference in terms of like the social anxiety aspect of it.
But yeah, I think it's like when we were talking again back to last week's episode with Jeff of like really like having that being able to have that conversation with yourself and checking in with yourself as to like what those experiences like are for you as you're, you know, going through them. And it's a constant check-in. It's not like, oh, I did that once.
And I think that, because that piece of it too goes along with knowing how much you can have as a person, right? I think something safe that people can try is if you are, let's say, just get into the alcohol game. This is why I think it's so important that parents kind of drink with their kids when they get older enough, before they turn 21, right? Before the big day. Drinking with your kids allows them to, you get to drink and then have them to kind of slow it down just to feel what their body is feeling, to kind of have an idea of where you are.
The impacts.
Yeah. It's kind of like eating, right? If you shoveling all your food, you don't know when you're full. But if you take a bite, you chill, you talk a little bit, then take a bite, chill, talk a little bit. Because people in social situations think I'm a slow eater. But it's really, I'm trying to gauge like how full I am so I can pack the rest of the shit up and go home. I don't have to sit up here and shovel this whole burger in my mouth.
Yeah.
And then like my stomach hurting 30 minutes after.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's the same thing in terms of trying to figure out like where you are as a drinker too. So when you are in these social situations, this is not your first time having something and you like, somebody's like, okay, you nervous? Before you get on stage, take 2 shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you get up there and your page start to look like you can't read nothing.
This anymore.
And then everybody starts to look wavy in the audience and, you know, you're trying to figure out like, wait, where did I go wrong? But if you already know where the part of it is your social piece of you is already lubricated, you see what I did there? Is already lubricated, then that allows you to, now you know where to stop. I'm social enough.
Yes.
I'm good.
Right.
I can be here. Let me go grab some water. Right? Instead of you, like I said, taking 30 shots, talking about, I'm trying to loosen up. I'm trying to loosen up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't ask me how I know. I just remember a time. I overestimated shot taking. I think that's why I'm very cautious about it now, because now I know.
Yeah.
I had to do my own experiment at home. I was like,
You did your own?
I did. I'm a scientist by heart. So I was at home.
Well, okay. Let's put this. So what did you do?
So I took tequila out because tequila's my favorite.
That's your fave.
That's my fave. So I lined up like five.
Five shots.
5 shots.
Okay.
Okay. Just the normal, like 1 ounces. Let's not get too heavy with the 3.
Yeah, but even
the 2, you know what I mean? Like the little warm ones, right? And so I remember lining them up and I poured. So I would take one an episode. It was a 25-minute episode. I think I was watching The Office or something at the time. And so what I would do is I would take one and wait the whole episode and do it. And I was like, okay, we feeling all right. I get up and I walk around my living room and I say, all right, that's not bad. So then I take another one. When the music comes on.
Yeah. You're like, this is my cue. This is my shot music.
So I take another shot and I was like, all right. So then I start to feel it, but I'm still at the point where I'm just like, I can feel my body just kind of warming up.
Right.
I'm like, okay, we're a little warm. That's fine. Let's just walk around. Let's do some things. Let's see if we can like.
Did you do this by yourself?
I did. I sure did. I did it with 3 alcohols actually. Not the same day. I just want to know what these different ones had, what kind of effect they had, right?
Was this during COVID?
No, it wasn't during COVID.
Okay.
It was way back.
I was like, this sounds like a COVID thing.
Oh,
where
no,
you're stuck at home. And you're like, might as well experiment tonight.
I had to be like 24, 25.
Wow.
Yeah, when I did this. And so, so I did it and I took it and I was like, okay, 4 is my limit. That's where I'm like,
yeah.
What's happening? And I had something to eat. So I was like, oh shit.
If you don't eat.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine where I could be if I didn't eat. So I was like, 4 shots of tequila. That's my limit. I'm good. I could still have a conversation with people. I could still, do things. So I was even like reading stuff on my phone. I was like, all right, we still reading everything. All right, good. Okay. We good.
All these little tests. I can dial a phone number. I can say hello.
Am I waving to my neighbors? Can they tell I'm drunk? Maybe.
Now they can.
Right. So I did it with tequila, I did it with gin, and I did it with bourbon.
Are they all at 4?
No, so tequila is 4. Gin, I actually can take like 5 to 6. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, that's probably why I make you sin, because you can take too many.
Yeah.
You can take
keep
too
going.
many, right?
Just keep going.
And then bourbon, it was 4. It was 4 as well. Mm-hmm. So I did like my own like little thing. And then that's how I knew I could drink a whole bottle of wine and I'm still like, okay. Yeah. I mean, I can drive nowhere.
Right,
but I'm still like good. I'm good enough to be like, I can hail a cab in New York.
There you go.
And tell them where I'm going.
Was that part of the experiment?
That was part of the experiment. So don't ask me how I know. I was with a friend, he was all out. And I was like, I can do a whole bottle and hail a cab. Look at me. So that part of it, that's how I knew like what it was. So anytime I tried these different types of alcohol, I'm always doing my own experiment at home first.
Yeah.
Of like, ooh, I tried this. Now I know. Let me go home and see like where I'm at.
Yeah. That's a safe way to do it.
And that's what I'm gonna do with my kids. Arrest me now. Because my kids drinking at 20.
I'm gonna say 13.
Take me to jail now.
13.
Yeah, 12.
Whatever, 7.
Yeah, right. But I want them, because if my kids are going to go to college, they're going to have the college experience.
Yeah.
I want them to be able to lower their risk of the social lubricant, but you know where you are and still be okay. So let's say I have a girl, right? If she gets out there and it's a dangerous situation, you still need to be enough.
You're cognizant enough. Yeah.
Like have enough to where you can still go out there. And if something happens, you can kind of think, not quick, because it does mess with that pre-cortex, gets in terms of like just lowering your inhibitions, but still enough to where you can go, I know I can at least dial 911. something's happening,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to do that than anything else. So, I think a lot of people should try that experiment.
I love that.
Just to kind of see where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty. So you basically waited like 20 to 25 minutes between each shot.
Yeah. Because that's how long the show was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like 4 shots in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Or 2 hours. Because I can do math. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Not including the bathroom breaks. And
yeah.
walk around my living room table. But
yeah.
Just to kind of see.
Well, I think our listeners should try it.
Yeah.
And let us know. Give us some feedback.
To see which one and how many does it take.
Mm-hmm.
If yours is a little high, you might need to stop.
Well, just learning about themselves.
Yeah, the tolerance is a little high. I know some people.
Way.
I know some people who know some people that can help you with that. So for we talked about in terms of like the alternatives for alcohol. So people having like the mocktails and everything and being able to do that and how great that is. And I think for the listeners who do not drink, first of all, thank you for still listening to us. If you don't drink, that means you really love us. I hope that some of these like drinks that we talk about in terms of people being able to, when I ask the question of what's a drink that you can make, what's 3 ingredients of a drink that you can make?
Yeah.
I also want people to think about like hearing those particular different cocktails, you can also substitute
for something else.
So you can still enjoy that. Because I've had a version, what was it, a mocktail? It was a Cosmopolitan.
Oh.
And it tastes just like it. And I was like, listen, the only thing it wasn't the burn of the alcohol, of course.
Yeah.
But this taste was there. And I was very impressed. I was like, look at me, because with the martini glass, what I said, that I just look just elegant and
pinky out.
Just ready to catch my flight. I'm just at the airport, just ready to catch my flight. And so having those like mocktails and stuff, and for people, God love them, because for one, they don't have the headaches the next day. Secondly, they're not hungover. So good for them for being able to have that and to be in a place where you don't have to have a social lubricant to kind of just, be able to mingle. And you don't have an alter ego. So there's that. I also wanted to talk about like the potential drawbacks and concerns. So going back to having a social lubricant, let's go back to dating. Beer goggles.
That's a thing.
That is a thing.
I don't think it's just beer. You drink anything and you have goggles.
Yeah. But like I said, I love those like sayings.
I know, but I'm just like, why is it only beer goggles?
Yeah.
Anything.
What is it? They have one for wine too, but I can't remember what it was. It's one that they have for wine as well. But but beer goggles. Being overindulgent in it, and then in the social event, and then getting to the point where you are now dating. Now because your inhibitions are low.
Yeah.
You're not thinking in terms of, is this person right for me?
Right.
Or you're doing something you don't have no business. Or maybe that is your business.
It might be.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe that is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is your business. At the same time, you're quicker to do that than it is in terms of like not having sex with someone just off the rip.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to think about it for a very long time. And if my inhibitions is low, no. Wow. You look just like Brad Pitt in here. This is wild.
I love these beer goggles.
I love these beer. Is that Denzel? Is that Idris Elba? Who is that? Who is that? I thought I came in here with Eric. Who is this? Yeah. So, like those particular situations. And like I said, going back to, you're at a business meeting, or you at, some kind of like event where business people are there, and you have too much.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's going to change the way I work with you.
Right. Well, and that's like with working in the alcohol industry, you're around alcohol all the time and you're sharing and you're like, and that is a fine line
Oh, for sure.
between like us sharing as colleagues or coworkers or whatever versus like going out and being interested. Like I think it's where people get in trouble is because you like just because you're in the beer industry or alcohol industry doesn't mean that everybody's your friend.
Yeah.
Or like wants to be your friend in that
Wait,
way.
what is it? Wine turns a 3 into 9.
Oh, yeah. That's from
Yes.
Mateo. Shout out to Mateo.
Yep. Wine turns a 3 into 9. That is, that's right. It does. Wow, see? Told you it was one for wine out there.
Beer goggles.
A wine turns 3 into 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do. They turn to a 9 real quick. And so...
like how many glasses before you turn into a 9?
Right. Right. I also think about in terms of the drawbacks of it, like karaoke. So karaoke is one of my favorite things to do.
I like it, but I'm terrible.
It's like I absolutely love karaoke.
Yeah, but you're a talented singer.
Yeah. So part of it is I noticed that if I want to if I'm going to karaoke to like sing, I'm like my drinking is very low. It's not like a high, like I'm not drinking a lot or anything because I need to save my throat.
I was gonna say that his vocal cords need to.
Right, I need all of that stuff to be saved. So
yeah,
I usually don't drink a lot, but I've seen, especially when I used to live in Japan, Japanese men will get up there and they would have been drinking all night, and they'll be trying to sing Michael Jackson.
I love that. I do. I love that.
And it is so hilarious because they start doing the dances. Like when you first see them kind of go up there, they're like just singing and they're like rocking back and forth. It's like really stiff. Where they're just kind of like doing like this. And then after a while, like the jacket's off, the tie is around the head. Like it's like
stop. Ties around the head.
The tie is around the head, like they're grabbing their crotch at this point, like doing all the Michael Jackson moves.
Yeah.
And it is hilarious. But when they're trying to exit the stage, because the stages are always, of course,
elevated.
Rise.
Yeah.
And they either fall off or somebody got to help them down the steps or something. So
all part of the presentation.
Kind of takes it too far in terms of it. Or, they can be off tune. And it's hilarious to me.
Or anyone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like the drunker you are, the worse it sounds. And the funnier.
But the less you care.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think everybody likes singing, but people don't like singing in front of other people.
Yeah.
But they like the feeling of like being on a stage and having a microphone and like having this almost like star moment. But you're like, I'm definitely not good enough to sing in front of people, but I want that experience. And alcohol will help you. Help you through it.
You got to get you a Nikki.
Yeah. Everyone needs a Nikki.
You got to get you a Nikki.
I need to figure out what my Nikki name is.
You gotta figure it out. I feel like
I had one.
Yeah. So like thinking about all of those times that it becomes fun, still a drawback kind of, but at the same time,
but bad singing is not a drawback.
It's not in karaoke. You're right. It's not. Unless you're Carl Lewis singing the national anthem at the game, then yeah, drinking might not be nice to do in the beginning. Have you ever heard that one?
No.
Carl Lewis is like, girl, please. First of all, he messed up the national anthem and then said, uh-oh.
Shut up, really?
It's my favorite.
Like when? When did this happen?
It was like, I want to say it was like the early 90s. But it's
what, like for like Super Bowl?
No,
or
it was like
for what?
It was a basketball game. I want to say it was like All-Star or something. It had to be something.
He said, uh-oh.
He said, oh.
You cannot say uh-oh while singing the national anthem.
It's my favorite.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to look that up.
It's my favorite mess up of the national anthem ever.
That's good.
Because I've been looking at them because, so one of my friends is getting commissioned next year And so he asked me and another friend to sing the national anthem at his thing. And so as I was like looking at different renditions, because I'm like, I want me and my friend to like remix it with Lift Every Voice and Sing. It's like the Black version of it's like our like anthem or whatever. The African American anthem or whatever you want to call it. But anyway, we're gonna try to mesh them together.
Oh, awesome. And that came in your search?
I was looking at the bad ones. And Carl Lewis came up. And he said, uh-oh.
I can't.
It's my favorite one. I watched it at least 20 times. Because he was like, yeah, the rocket. Uh-oh. I said, maybe he should have had a social lubricant.
It sounds like he already had some.
Probably, but see, I'm hot just thinking about it. But that's the funniest one, and I cry.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so going back to it's not really a huge drawback, but it can get sloppy.
Yeah.
If you allow it to.
Sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you allow it to. So let's do a little bit of promoting some responsible drinking practices. Going back to what I said in terms of like you guys could try my experiment if you want to.
I think that's a pretty damn good experiment.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try it with beer because since I'm not a big beer drinker, I kind of want to see.
You'll have to try different ABVs.
Yeah,
because like at least like when you're drinking spirits, like bourbons are usually all about the same amount, or wines, like beer you can go from 3% all the way up to 10%, and that's a big difference.
Yeah.
So you have to do it by percentage.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try and see.
And report back.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a little experiment over time to see how many it takes before. But yeah, when I think about, remember when we talked about in our myths episode about like the different sayings that people had for beers, right? I mean, for alcohol in terms of like,
hair of the dog, like that.
Yeah. Was it liquor before? Beer before liquor.
Beer before liquor, never been sicker.
Yeah. Like all those different ones, right?
Yeah.
Of like the different sayings that doesn't true matter at all.
Yeah. It's all psychological.
Mm-hmm. Liquor before beer, you're in the clear, all that kind of stuff. Just thinking about like first of all, guys, go back to that episode and listen to what the myths are. So you kind of have an understanding of what you thought you was doing, but you're not doing it right. And pacing yourself. Because that's the key. That's why I did that experiment.
Yeah.
Pacing myself over time to kind of see how many can I have in a certain amount of time.
Right.
Because if I'm doing shots, I'm not drinking in between.
No.
I'm not drinking. And if I am drinking in between, it's one shot only. We're not doing multiple ones. You're not going to ask me to do 3 more. No. If I'm already drinking alcohol of some sort, you're not going to add 30 shots in the middle of it.
30 shots. That's ridiculous.
That's the way it feels to be. It could be like 3. It feels
You're
like 40.
Punch bowl.
Yeah.
And a shot.
No, we're not doing that. So, thinking about like having that responsibility of even when you are out and about and you know that you need a social lubricant in order to be able to do whatever it is that you need to do. We're not saying please, which it just hit my mind, but it's also hilarious and you shouldn't do it, is you shouldn't have a shot before a job interview just because you need that social piece, right?
Right.
Because that's another thing
it's called belly breathing.
That's another thing you're highly nervous about.
Yeah.
And you just can't go in there, with 2 shots of tequila deep.
Nope. In college, I think I took a couple tests. I had like a pint before, like a beer, to help with nerves.
Wow.
I did do that.
Yeah. And how did it help?
It did help because I was like, okay. I I don't know, it helped. I was like, just one beer.
Yeah.
Because like an evening class or something, and like trying to take some nerves off of whatever it was. And I'm like, all right, let's like have a beer and see what, and then I'm like, oh, that actually kind of like helped me mentally like get rid of this block that was prohibiting me from like taking this test or whatever. But it was like low ABV, like, but there was something to it, but I'm not saying it's the healthiest thing, but I'm like, okay, well, there's other ways to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
but I'm not
when you know
like
better, you do
5
better.
shots before anything. But
when you know better, you do better. Yeah. At the same time, I think that you was doing what you knew. You was like, well, I know this is going to help me get through this without me panicking the entire test,
Yeah.
And
or
so
second guessing every question.
Right.
And then like doing worse. And like, it goes back to almost like that social lubrication where you have like confidence. It was like this small thing where it was like took the edge off.
Yep.
Enough for me to be like, oh no, I know that answer. Why would I even second guess it?
Right.
But there's
you flinging the test
back
at the teacher like, finished.
Bye. But there's definitely other ways to do that. But as you're like trying to figure out like, okay, I need to find ways to like help me through these types of things. But I definitely did
all
that.
I can see is you drinking.
21-year-old Paige throwing a test at a teacher.
Is after you finish, you just holler out, boom, aced it. And you like run down because they have like the little
because there's like so many
stadium seating.
Yeah, auditorium.
You like come down and you like take it to the teacher.
Good night.
Hope the rest of you guys pass. But
I'm gonna go having a beer.
That's all I saw was you just screaming out at the end.
Your visuals.
Screaming out at the end. Boom, passed, aced it.
Yeah.
Oh God. So yeah. So to wrap it all up, when it comes to a social lubricant, it's actually a good thing to have when you're having to go to certain events or social events, parties or whatever, and you kind of want to loosen up. The thing is just taking that time and being responsible with it. And then also knowing what your limit is. So you don't turn a charity event into your charity event.
That is not the objective.
Right. We're supposed to be rescuing the puppies or the polar bears or something, and now we're holding your hair back in the bathroom. So, part of that is having that social lubricant is being able to just say to yourself, this is my limit, just to take the edge off. And now I'm ready to rock. And I nailed it. Yeah. Like you did. Did you pass your test?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, I did.
Right. Because you
aced it. Boom,
out of here.
Aced it, out of there. And I didn't second guess myself.
Exactly. Oh, Paige.
I hate tests. Like, I hate them.
Paige, you don't know. In my mind,
I am super against standardized testing.
Oh, I hate it too.
I think it's one of the most terrible things we do to our children.
Like the multiple choice, just give me a 50-50. Stop with this A, B through E. Why would you do that? And then
there's got to be other ways to like test competence besides a multiple choice test that gives kids so much anxiety. I think we should get rid of them.
For a bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
For you to tell me that I scored some numbers on the test and I don't even know what they mean.
Right. So you can get extra funding. You're welcome.
Yeah, so
anyways, that's another discussion.
Yeah, but I just want you to know that in my head now, that's what I'm going to tell people. My friend, she
aced the test.
She aced the test and she drank one beer and went in there cocky.
I did it.
And did it, yes. And it worked. So yeah, raising the glass to you. You know what I mean? Cheers. But yeah, so first of all, I want to thank people who have been listening to us because you guys don't know, just you commenting and liking and sharing especially on social media. We really, really appreciate that because we're out here giving good content. At least we think so. And just being able to put another type of spin on the alcohol world. Where it's not all about just the deep dive of where everything comes from. We do that, but at the same time, we kind of want to know just the whole community aspect of it.
Yep.
And so part of that is, I haven't been getting any drinking stories. I want to know why is that? Somebody out there.
We haven't got Mateo's drinking story.
We
haven't gotten Greg's Greek. No, these people.
Somebody.
Come on.
We need some drinking stories. Even Zeke, you need to be having some drinking stories too on here. We need some drinking stories that we can read when it's just Paige and I, because we would still like for that to be our thing on the show in terms of just being able to hear other people's experience, whether it's good, bad, funny,
ugly,
fugly. Right. We want to hear it all. And so please send in those drinking stories. We really enjoy reading those and reading them out loud. And please, guys, if you haven't heard it enough, comment, like, share our material because
it's good.
It's good. Look at us. Look at this. Right. Aced it. Well, to be able to, for the drinking stories, what is our email address?
oddpairingpod@gmail.com.
There it is. And then we're at Odd Pairing Pod on Instagram. And you can find us on YouTube. That's probably where you're watching right now. And we're on other platforms as well. So please, 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 please get the word out. And and until next time, this is Odd Pairing.
We're out.
Thanks for listening and watching Odd Pairing. So please subscribe, like, rate,
and comment with your favorite drinking stories and curiosities about adult beverages. Cheers.
I'm going to happy hour. Who's driving? Boom! Aced it.
Boom!
That's all I'm going to think about.
Oh my God.